party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I am joined once again by Emily Buza from Whelmed to the Young Justice Files for a DC superheroes themed game of Ben Robbins' Follow. And as you can imagine, I am extremely hyped. Before we dive in though, I do want to briefly say two things. One, I'm going to be at PAX Unplugged in a few weeks. Of course I am, because it's in Philadelphia. Friday and Saturday, I am going to be running some games for Games on Demand, specifically Mission Accomplished, the Kickstarter smash sensation. I'm going to talk more about that in a second, as well as Jim McClure's The Terrible RPG. And Sunday, I am being joined by the casts of Heartpoints, Pot of Love, and game designer Russell Collins, who you know from Project Wingspan, for a roundtable discussion on two-player role-playing games. I could not be more excited, and I hope you're able to make it out to all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great time. Secondly, I would like to sincerely thank, from the bottom of my heart, everyone that supported, shared, checked out, helped make the Mission Accomplished Kickstarter happen. This is a game that I'm very proud of at a moment in my life when I needed it to be something, and it's a little overwhelming even a week later to consider the fact that this thing that I wrote is going to be a book that people will own. So, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. And with all that said, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me.
Thanks, future me. This week I am sitting down once again with Emily Buza. Emily, thank you so much for coming back on Party of One.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, real quick, at the top of the show, why don't you take a moment to remind the lovely listeners at home all the wonderful things that you're working on, anywhere they might know you from, that sort of thing.
Well, I co-host Whelmed the Young Justice Files with Rich Howard, where we discuss and review everything related to Young Justice, the DC Comics cartoon about teenage superheroes. We have reviewed both seasons of the show, as well as all of the tie-in comics and a bunch of other stuff. And we are getting very excited for season 3.
I'm so excited. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very excited.
The trailer came out last month and I may have screamed.
The way that season 2 ended, I'm losing my cool. I'm getting ready for some real good New Gods action. It's going to be the best.
How do you think we feel?
I know how you all feel, because you're all very good at tweeting how you feel, and it brightens my every day.
We're very good at screaming on social media about how excited we are for everything. Yeah, that sounds about right for both of us.
Yeah, and hard same. So, this week we are playing Follow by Ben Robbins. It is a game about people on a quest and how those people relate to each other and how that quest impacts the people and the people they are connected to. We are going to be controlling two main characters. We're each going to be controlling a main character. It is a GM-less game, and we're going to have a number of supporting characters kind of accompanying us for the ride. Which of those characters are around at the end of the story, whether they are killed, captured, knocked out, or otherwise, is yet to be seen. How we are going to succeed at the quest is going to be directly connected to how we relate to each other and whether or not we feel we have come together as like a proper team.
So friendship is magic?
Friendship
basically
is magic. So we've talked just a little bit beforehand, so we're going to start with setting creation. We've picked out our quest, which is the superheroes. Obviously, right? Obviously.
We got to stay on brand.
Yeah, right. We know what the people want. Our goal is to form a team of superheroes to protect society. We are the heroes, sidekicks, allies, and organizers who are trying to bring it together. We may team up and think we've succeeded in the middle of the quest, but we'll only know if we truly hold together at the end of the quest. We have a few questions to kind of flesh out, but the first of which I think even not one that's listed in the book is, I think we talked a little bit, and it sounds like we're going to go with existing characters once again.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So, who do you want to like? What superhero team up story do you want to tell today?
I'm open for anything. I've been trying. Like, I can't settle on one specific thing, which is always the problem.
What's on? I'm trying to think what superhero thing is on my mind at this exact moment. My heart always says DC Comics, and I'm trying to decide what sort of DC superhero team-ups would be fun.
Since we did Marvel last time.
Yes.
for someone who co-hosts a DC Comics related podcast, I'm completely blanking on characters.
I'm trying. I think what I might do is just pick the first character that comes to mind, and then we'll see what happens. What comes from there? Because I think I kind of want to be Booster Gold.
I know nothing about Booster Gold, so if that's what you want to go with.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll play Superman again. I like Superman a lot, and he's a fun character to just be, to embody. That feels fun to me. Because like he's also got some great supporting characters that it could be really fun to play around with.
Yes. No, I'm just like, what makes sense with that? Because
what would be a fun pairing for Superman?
I've literally just opened a list and I'm scrolling through being like, who do I know that would make sense with this? Because my mind keeps going to like Gotham City characters and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. What are you doing?
I mean it could. This is our story. We can make it make sense.
We can, but it's like the Superman universe is the city in DC that I am less familiar with. If we're going like Metropolis versus Gotham, I'm like, I know Gotham better for some reason.
Well, then do you want to go with Gotham? Because I'm all about Gotham. I love a good Gotham City story.
Well, I don't want to force you to change if you have something that you want to do. Like,
no, not at all. Especially because there's a character called the Question that is the coolest weirdo vigilante in the world. A no-face-it conspiracy nut who's willing to be the bad guy if he has to be. That's real close to my heart.
Yes. That would be really fun. I mean, if we're going with someone who's like kind of on the edge between good and bad, my mind always goes to my girl Catwoman.
Catwoman would be good.
Would that be an okay team up? Could we do that?
Yeah, I think we could do that. For sure.
Selena and the Question. How could this possibly go wrong?
Okay, so we've got our main characters.
Okay.
The Question and Catwoman. Good pairing. Very good pairing.
Remains to be seen. We'll see how well this goes.
We'll see how it plays out. So, we are trying to come together to do something heroic, right? Like to stop something. We'll kind of figure out exactly what that is in a bit. Partially because what makes our quest difficult? My gut, there's a list of 6 options. If you are like our last team caused a disaster, the government doesn't trust us, vigilantes are against the law, people expect miracles from us, society's peaceful, or crime and other threats is overwhelming the city. We're going to what makes this particular quest difficult beyond the fact that our characters are going to be morally at odds.
Besides the fact that our characters are disasters in their own right.
Right.
Is there one you're leaning towards?
Well, I definitely lean towards against the law just because, both of our characters are not friendly to authority. But I also think, organized crime would be a fun one for the characters that we've laid out, right?
Yeah.
Like, we both have different approaches to how to stick it to organized crime, and that feels like it gives us a good direction for, how we would collide and how we would, come to be on the same side, albeit fairly unwillingly.
Yeah, I could see that being really cool. If that's what you want to go with, I'm totally up for that.
Yeah, so let's say, there's an organized crime family that is maybe we could go. I mean,
one of
Young
Gotham's
Justice
12.
One of Gotham's 12. I was gonna say that with Young Justice, Outsiders in the Air, and the New Gods as all the vogue. Intergang is right there, smuggling alien weapons, doing alien badness.
Yes, because both of us with no superpowers are completely equipped to take that on.
I feel like that's been our modus operandi for all of for the stories we told last time.
True.
Was out of our league in the best way. Very
true. Very true.
So we've picked our quest. We've picked 2 things that make our quest difficult. We're not in the best light in the law, and we're out of our league with organized crime outfits smuggling alien weapons. We've named our main characters. Next, we're going to say, what is your character? What do both of our characters want to get out of success? What's our motivation? They have some options on the superheroes playset, or on the superheroes quest sheet. There's also we can also pick one just from our knowledge of the character. I think the question for sure just wants to punish criminals. A is A, evil is always evil, and the question just wants to make people who have done things that are wrong suffer. As morbid as that is, I think that's got to be what I want from success.
I think I'm kind of leaning towards the option of we should change society, not just put out fires and protect the status quo. Like, I think Selena would want Gotham to just be a little less horrible. Like, she doesn't just want things to... Yeah. Sorry, I'm like trying to go through my own thoughts, but like that's...
No, please. I think that's... Yeah, and I love that because it puts the two of us at odds. Like, it puts the two of us at odds in a really interesting way because, like, the question doesn't believe that people can change, and you're, like, actively looking to make things make the world a better place.
Yeah. Especially because Selena is actively a character who has changed and does change. Mm-hmm. So she's like, if I can do this, other people should be able to do this.
Yes, I love it. That's very good. All right, so we've got what we want. We've got our concepts. Okay. Oh, this is a fun one. The next thing we're going to state is something that you want from the other character, something you need from the other character that the other character is willing to give you. There's examples on the quest sheet, or we can make up our own. I need, but you won't give me. I want Catwoman to leave me alone. Or to, like, not even necessarily, like, that's the bluntest way to put it, but to, like, I think the question's ego is like, I can do this. I don't need help. And so to either be convinced of that against his conscious wants, or to just get what he wants and just do the thing and be left to be the one to do the thing. Because I don't think Catwoman is going to leave me alone. Like, I don't think Selena can stay out of something like this when people are in danger.
Yeah, no. So now I'm trying to think what makes sense. I love how there's like the option like be my best friend. I'm like, no, not be my best friend. That. Selena doesn't really want that.
I don't think so.
I'm kind of leaning towards the one that's stop. That Selena wants you to stop telling her what to do, but I'm afraid that that's too close to yours. And if they're both in like leave me alone mode, then it's like, well, then why don't they just leave each other alone? I could also maybe see trust me with your secret identity, not because she particularly cares who you are, but because she doesn't trust you and is...
I love that.
Okay, good. Okay,
yeah,
good.
I love that. So even we on secret identity, just trust you, or you need me to trust you. You need to be able to trust me, and I will not give you that because I'm a weird faceless man in a fedora.
Which, Selena's seen a lot of weird things, but that's pretty weird.
Right. So, now we're going to name two supporting characters. Two characters that are going to be in the background of scenes. They're going to aid us. They're going to be a part of our fellowship, but not the focal character. And then if our character gets knocked out, they can kind of step up. These can be superheroes. These can be not superheroes. These can be like whomever we want them to be.
And remind me of the rules. Is that 2 each or 1 each?
2 each, because we're playing a 2-player game. So the rulebook suggests having 2 minor characters instead of 1 minor character.
Okay.
I feel like the romantic in me has to put the Huntress in because I have to represent my deep personal ships.
Because of the way that the game goes of there's only 2 of us playing back and forth, would you like Huntress to be one of my characters?
Yeah, absolutely. That works.
Just so, because like so that you don't have to play out a scene with yourself.
That's fair. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So what character do you want to play? I'll make them we can even pick each other supporting characters for that exact reason.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense for this, especially because of we have decided to just have this be Gotham City fan fiction.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm trying to think. Who would I want? Selena. It's like, again, for the same reason my mind's like, I want Bruce in this game, but then I'm like, if we add Batman, we may just end up overshadowing everything.
Mm-hmm.
He pops in, he's just busy with other stuff.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on.
It's like, you take care of the crime syndicate. I'll just show up for one scene. So if you
could I?
Yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna say, could I make a suggestion?
Yes, go for it.
What if the supporting character is Bruce Wayne? And Batman just isn't. We just don't run into Batman. Like for whatever reason, like, and then like in the story itself, we have to come up with, part of what makes this difficult is that, like, for whatever reason, Batman is either not available or we can't let Batman find out about this.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
That way you can get your ship time in.
I can be trash without having to worry about that affecting actual story. And I kind of love that in terms of, like, Selena would know who he is, but she'd have to be like, but I can't, 'cause question. So I can't reveal that you're Batman because apparently I'm working with this crazy man.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have another one that you'd want to do?
Who do I think is a fun supporting character for the question? If we're sticking with Gotham, my first instinct, and feel free to shoot this down if you don't feel comfortable playing the character. My first instinct is the Blue Beetle, because they're known partners and associates. Or we can go... There's always Batwoman. Batwoman, I feel like, it would fit in nicely with, like, this sort of Black Ops dangerous assignment.
Yeah.
In terms of people willing to do bad things.
People willing to do bad things. I'm fine with either one if there's one that you're leaning more towards. I feel like I know Batwoman a little bit better than I know Blue Beetle, but that's not saying much. But if there's one that you like better.
Actually, you know who I think would be good is either... I think because we've got a good stable of superheroes, and I think if we're like kind of at odds with the law, having a supporting character that is one of the Gotham Central, like one of the Gotham police, would be a good fit. So is there a Gotham police officer that you're itching to play?
Not particularly. Like I'm fine with anyone. You could make up your own original Gotham police officer if you really wanted to.
You know what? I'm gonna not do that because I'm trash, and because I forgot that Renee Montoya becomes the question.
I was thinking
eventually.
that, but I wasn't sure if you wanted that. So Renee Montoya?
Nope. 100%. Renee Montoya. I forgot that she eventually becomes the question. Partially because that storyline rules. Like, I was not a fan of that, like, when they announced it, and then eventually they completely won me over. So I don't know how I could have forgotten
things are changing, and I hate it until you're like, oh, wait, this is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until I'm like, oh, God, this is amazing.
In that same way of talking about how we're kind of at odds with the law, I was thinking it might be fun to have one of the Gotham villains be one of Selena's minor characters. And I am if there is one that you want to play, I am fine with that. My mind, of course, goes to, like, the other Gotham City Sirens, but if you don't want to play Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy, which I completely understand, you can pick any Gotham villain that you feel strongly would be interesting in this situation if you'd like.
I was gonna say the Riddler, but I can't play a mean Harley Quinn, so I think we're gonna put Harley Quinn in. Especially because she's got that edge of, like, secretly, like, a scientist, like a doctor. And I love when she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like I know all of this stuff. Like I'm remarkably intelligent, and you just underestimated me."
I just love the concept that there are these three women in Gotham who are all villains, all separately, but they're also just kind of like ridiculous roommates sometimes. So I'm totally up for that.
Okay. And with that is our character creation. So yeah, now we just start the game. The way the game's going to play is we're going to come up with 3 challenges, 3 things that we have to confront in order to come together as a team and save the world, or save Gotham City.
I don't think we're ready for the whole world.
Gotham first, then
Selena knows.
We'll
my favorite there. Selena knows. She's like, I protect the east end of Gotham, and that's about it. That's as far as my range goes.
The question that I love thinks that he's saving the world, but just is like, if I stop this one mugging, then by the butterfly effect, certainly Darkseid will just fly overhead and the crisis event will be solved. I just have to throw this dumpster through this window, and then we fix it. We've solved it. Wonderful.
I love it. Yeah. I'm just going back to all my Justice League Unlimited watching and being like, that's the question.
Yep, that's the one. That is specifically the question.
It's the one
that
I'm most familiar with.
Corkboard covered
Huntress
in string.
Is just like, chill. Can you chill?
And you know I can't. All right. So we've came up with our scenario, which is that Intergang, a Gotham City crime outfit that is secretly a front for Darkseid's forces on Earth, is gearing up to distribute some kind of shipment of alien super weapons to the smaller crime families, your Falcones, your Maronis, and we have collectively gotten a tip on that and have collectively set about to try and stop it, probably for our own reasons. I think maybe our first challenge is what puts us to let's go with this. If I may suggest the first challenge. Busting up the first shipment to be of alien weapons to be distributed, and it's a thing that we both come to separately. Yes. And realize that we're both collectively on the case. So we get that first act superhero team up, fight, realize we're on the same side.
Yes.
Scene play.
I love it.
All right. So we've chosen a challenge. Our challenge is going to be there is a shipment of weapons. I'm picturing the first scene of Netflix's Daredevil where there's just that big long bear crate and they're sliding it open, except it's just full of laser guns, and they're just throwing them to 3 dudes in suits and cars. They're just yeah, laser gun. All right. Within specifically because we are going to take down this the street gang armed with laser rifles. That is our first challenge.
Can you remind me of the format for how we actually do take on challenges? Because I am trying to remember exactly how that works.
Yes. We pick somebody. So we pick a player to pick the first challenge. I've chosen the challenge. You're going to pick something from the quest sheet and then kind of reflavor it as you think is appropriate. For our purposes, the first item on the superheroes quest sheet is take down a crime ring, choose one mob, street gangs, or advanced tech cartel. We're kind of doing all 3 of those at once. Because what fun is a challenge if you don't make it impossibly difficult? We state who, where, what is happening. Specifically, so what I'm picturing is on the east end of Gotham, the docks, because it's always got to start by the docks, right? There is, like I said, there's a huge crate that has been handed off from a boat of mysterious-looking origin that when everyone looks back is just gone, it just fades into the mist, and they start handing out these weapons. The 2 of us both arrive separately on the scene, and we'll kind of describe how we get there.
Okay.
And then we state why this is difficult, because there are laser rifles.
And we are but normal people who decided costumes and punching was a good idea.
The first player will choose which main character we think would be the first to decide how to deal with this problem. I cannot pick my own character, so I think Catwoman gets on the scene first. You get to sort of describe how Catwoman is going to take this challenge on, and then you can sort of decide when the question shows up, and then we can kind of set the pace, which is deciding how long this takes. I'm picturing. I think we're both picturing like an in the moment, a few minutes of time, a quick fight scene.
If I'm remembering this correctly, I'm supposed to narrate I'm supposed to start a scene, and then you start another scene, and we go back and forth once or twice, and then we move on to the next challenge. Or okay, just checking. Sorry about that.
Yes, each player makes a scene for the challenge. The player chosen. So you make the first scene. I make a scene. Your scene should be about your main character. So basically, it is like how you are taking on this challenge, what it looks like. And then I kind of take that ball and run with it and kind of introduce how my character gets involved. We play through that until we reach a point where we feel like we need to go okay, now we need to see how this is resolved and how things turn out for us.
So, Intergang has decided that they can come into the East End, which is not a good plan when, that's where Catwoman... That's where her base is. That's where she protects. Mm-hmm. If it's like you go anywhere else in Gotham, Batman's going to take you down. If you're coming into the East End, Selina's going to be a bit pissed. So she hears about this, hears that this is going down, and decides to go check it out. And swings into the scene, sneaks into the scene, however Catwomen do, and sees them start handing out the laser guns. As Intergang is wont to do.
Sure.
And is planning at first is just kind of planning to gather some information, see what's going down, see who the buyer is. But in approaching, someone notices her. One of the members of the team sees that she's there, and she has to go from being in investigation mode to being like, oh, okay, we're fighting now, and starts just whip is out ready to take down these guys, but they have laser guns, so that's kind of a problem. So she is attempting to disarm them and maybe kick some guys in the face as she goes, when at some point in that, as she's attempting all of this, I'm assuming Question comes in because he was also investigating. But Selina's cover got broken first.
Question specifically. Specifically, the Question, I think, as you're getting lasers, I think the first thing that we see is, a hand go over one of the guy's mouth, one of the armed thug's mouths, and, drag him away. And then we flash back to the big corkboard wall with a bunch of things, and the Question is just kind of spinning in a chair, sort of throwing push pins at a wall, and throws a push pin just it's a picture of somebody's mugshot, and just looks at it for a second. And we get a close-up of his blank face, and a close-up of the mugshot, and a close-up of the blank face, and a close-up of the mugshot. And then, Intergang is planning to smuggle drugs onto the east side of Gotham. It all makes sense. Really, when you think about it, it's elementary.
Oh, I love it.
And there's no explanation beyond that for how he pieces this together. And so we cut back, and he drags away one of these guys, and I think, he starts to scream because he starts choking him and just hitting him, and the other guards all kind of turn their guns onto the Question, giving Selina time to do what Selina does next. As the Question has accidentally provided the perfect distraction in terms of his utter lack of subtlety with fighting and attacking this armed guard.
Oh god, we're already a disaster. I love it. So when that happens and everyone turns towards this disaster, Selena has a moment of like, what the heck is going on? Only to rally, of course, and very quickly attempts to use her whip in a way that, whips probably don't work, but this is superheroes, so and disarms a couple of them, like just crack the whip, somehow knocks a gun out of somebody's hand, and is just trying to like disarm as many of them as possible before they remember that she's there.
And, like, as you're very gracefully disarming people and, like, fighting from the shadows, we get, like, the camera follows you, and in the background we just hear... and we just hear, like, grunting just throughout the entire, like, graceful shot of you silently doing this. That big shadow of, like, that big overcast shadow on a wall of just the Question throwing punches. And he gets grabbed, and you see the silhouette of a guard grab him by the arms, and another one start punching him. And it's just this long shot, all in shadow, of the Question just being overwhelmed, but, like, throwing haymakers at the right moments, and just barely hanging on, and, like, taking guys down, but just really getting just the tar kicked out of him.
After Selena has either disarmed or knocked out or something, gotten some of these people with laser guns out of the way and no longer a problem, she is then going to turn to you, who is apparently getting beaten to a pulp, and attempt to help in whatever way she can, because she has no idea who you are, at least at the moment. But if Intergang is beating you to a pulp, then you probably need some help. You're probably on the right side, maybe. So she is going to like grab one of the guys, like arm around his neck, pull him back, and try to do some crazy flippy thing to knock him to the ground. But if there's more than one guy attacking you, the other one is still definitely attacking you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right. So I think what happens is, like, I am getting beaten, and I grab one of the guns, and I throw it up, and the guy punching me punches it way too hard, and it starts to spark and crackle. And, like, in a daze, I'm just like, this'll work! And I throw it hard into the metal crate, and it just, like, crack-a-thooms, and, like, the side of the crate, bowl open, or, like, curve open, and the whole crate just goes up. And it's like the daylight sky in the middle of the night as we're just... And guards start running and scrambling, and I kind of climb to my feet, adjust my hat and tie.
And Selena's just going to look at you and just go, who the hell are you and what are you doing in my city?
Catwoman. Former jewel thief turned vigilante.
Yeah.
Guardian of the east side of Gotham.
Yeah. And you are?
Your services are done here. East side is safe. Go about your business. And he starts to, like, leave.
He's just so confident. I'm like, wait, what? She's just gonna stare at him for a second and just go, No, you go about your business. This is my job.
My business? What is my business? That is the question.
Oh, God, you're one of them. Says the woman wearing a cat suit.
Yep.
As if her shtick isn't any less ridiculous.
Intergang, an intergalactic gang. I suppose it's obvious from the name. Intergang, Darkseid's forces are smuggling alien weapons into the east side of Gotham.
I knew that.
Part of a larger... Well, obviously you knew that. You saw it with the crate. I'm trying to paint a picture here.
Continue.
Intergang.
I'm sorry.
No, it's perfect. It's so perfect. Intergang. Smuggling weapons into the east side of Gotham. Their goal is to destabilize the economy, spreading Batman's influence too thin, such that he can be easily removed from the equation. With Batman out of the equation, the Justice League loses one of their core members, their morale is shaken, they are out of the equation. With them out of the equation, an apocalyptic invasion of Earth is easy pickings. Unless the weapons can be stopped at the source. That is the job of someone like me. Someone that is willing to do what is necessary. You see, the thing is, A is always A. And he just starts talking for a long time.
She is eventually just going to cut him off and go, I'm just trying to protect my side of Gotham. Whatever apocalyptic nightmare you have somehow predicted, that's future Selina's problem. Right now, I'm just trying to, stop whatever the hell they were trying to do right here. And you kind of interrupted all that.
Well, I would dare say that I helped the mission be a success. As you notice, the weapons are in no danger of flooding the streets of Gotham.
And I have no idea who they were being sold to.
That information will come. We'll get to the bottom of this. And he, adjusts his tie and hat and just walks out. Muttering under his breath the whole time, one's identity cannot be changed. The secret of understanding all of this is to understand. And I'd say he's gone, but I think Catwoman watches him walk off for a very long time.
And just kind of sighs to herself and is like, couldn't have been Zatanna. Couldn't have been Huntress. Couldn't have been anyone that I can actually deal with. No, of course, it's him. Great.
And I think that is the end of our first challenge. So, now we are going to determine how the challenge, how our larger quest is shaping up. How we are going to do this is we are going to take some stones, hold them in our hand, put the stones in a pool, and then draw them randomly. I have stones in front of me, I'll draw them. Here's how this is going to work. We start with no stones in the pool. We place one white and one red stone in the pool. Right? White stones are good, red stones are bad. You are going to take 2 red stones in your hand.
Okay.
If your main character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your character wants the quest to fail, hold 2 red stones. Otherwise, hold no red stones. Decide secretly, and then we will reveal, not simultaneously, because this is an audio medium, and we will kind of say our choices out loud.
Okay.
So, once you've decided, let me know, and then we will reveal.
Okay, yeah. I'm ready.
All right, how many stones are you revealing?
1.
That's fair. I am revealing no stones. I think the question is perfectly happy with this.
Because Selena's not mad. Selena's just frustrated. She will go with it. She's just like, okay, this is the week we've got going here.
Okay, so that's 1 red stone added to the cup. You'll take 1 white and 1 red stone. As a player, do you think that we did what was necessary to succeed at the challenge? The challenge being overcome the gang, overcome the tech cartel, overcome the organized crime syndicate. You're going to hold 1 white and 1 red stone. If you think that we've done what is necessary, hold white. If not, hold red.
Okay.
All right, I am ready.
So am I.
I am holding a white stone. I think we have done I think we succeeded pretty well. While we may not have been happy about it, we worked pretty well as a team and stopped those weapons from being distributed.
Yes, I agree. I also white stone.
All right. Now we will put the stones in a cup without looking, draw 1 stone and reveal it, and then draw and reveal a second. As we kind of put this together, this will tell us how we did. Our first stone is white. Our first stone is a white stone.
Woohoo.
And our second stone is red.
Oh, no.
We have a white and a red.
What does that mean, Jeff?
White and red means we have lost the challenge and lost a character. One of our Let me see what it means to have lost a character.
Like none of our supporting characters showed up.
Okay, so what is going to happen now is we choose one of the characters that we've laid out. Whether they were in the scene or not, we can play out a short scene of them being taken out.
Okay.
And we can decide what that means. It just means that they are no longer a part of the story.
Okay.
It means they are out of the equation for the time being. So who do we think gets eliminated? I have a suggestion, if you'd like to hear it.
Okay. I also have a suggestion, but go ahead. What is your idea?
I was going to suggest Bruce Wayne. Who are you going
I
to
was
suggest?
also going to suggest Bruce Wayne.
Good.
I was
Good.
like,
We're on the
I
same
don't want to
page.
give up my stupid bat boyfriend, but at the same time, I'm like, I have a scenario in my mind that makes sense.
All right. Give me the scenario.
That would be after that disaster. Whatever disaster that was. Selena would kind of go to Wayne Manor, go to Batman as Bruce or Batman, and just try to be like, so this is what happened. This is what's happening. This seems a bit bigger than anything I can really handle right now. Because, apocalypse. Possible apocalypse. And kind of lay all that out and kind of ask for his help. Knows that he's a bit more well-versed in world-ending scenarios than she is. But for whatever reason, Bruce is too busy to help for some reason.
Well, I actually have the perfect other half of
Please
that.
go
and
for
it. Takes him out of the equation in a way that I think gives you some good time with your Bat boyfriend. I think what it is Batman's like at the computer and you're explaining all of this and he's just watching and he kind of stands up, comes to you and says, keep your eyes on the streets. Keep things under control here. If Darkseid's forces are on the move, this is a job for the League. I can convene them together, we can be ready, but it's going to take time. This is not going to be... We can't just rush in. We have to be prepared. And that's going to take time. But with time to prepare, Batman can beat anything. So, keep an eye on the ground. Be ready. Work with the Question if he shows up again. I know, but he's a League member in good standing, and sometimes that just means having to work with him. He gets results. Sometimes.
Your friends are weird, Bruce. You know that, right?
Present company included.
Fair enough.
Do your thing. I trust you. You have this. I've seen how far you've come. If anybody can keep Gotham safe while the League is doing what the League does, it's you.
I'm falling into like, shipper heart can't function in moment.
Yes.
That's the goal here. That's not the goal of this game.
No, it's the goal of life, though.
True.
It's the goal of fiction.
That's the goal of fiction, yes. So he says all that, and I recover. And so he said, I trust you, and she's just like, okay, means a lot. And like she's trying to come up with a way to still sound cool. It's like just.
And I think they stand there for a second, and then he just kind of like, I have to go.
Come back soon.
I will.
Okay.
I'll see you on my return with a safe Gotham and a safe Catwoman. I have to go.
Okay, Bruce. Like they were doing so well, and then they're both pretty awkward.
I like that Batman just does not have the vocabulary to deal with that. That's my Batman.
Yep. Really cares about her.
All right.
Can't express it well.
All right. So now we pick our second challenge. As I picked the last one, why don't you pick the second one? Pick from the list and then flavor it however you want it flavored. We can pick the same one again, or we can pick a different one.
We just keep having to take down this game. Oh, God. So I'm thinking I'm totally up for doing just another, we keep running into this gang and blowing things up. Or we could do the option that's get the authorities on our side.
I was just looking at that option. I think that one's the one that, like, I feel like that's perfect because the law doesn't really like either of us, and having to, like, convince the police to take us seriously in Batman's absence is probably pretty good.
I am totally up for that. And it would be you going there first because I would have to pick you.
All right. I think what makes this difficult is that we've already kind of established that, right? We already kind of know what makes this difficult, and it's that you're Catwoman and I am the question.
Sorry, I forgot, right? There are the what makes this difficult options. Yes, but yeah. That makes sense to me. Of reformed villain and conspiracy theorist attempt to get the police to listen to them? Oh no. This can only go well.
So, I think the scene starts. I know exactly where the scene begins.
Okay.
I'm gonna crib directly from one of the best. I'm gonna crib a lot from one of my favorite Question comics ever written, and that is 52. The sequence where the Question takes a floodlight, spray paints a question mark on it, and then flashes it in Renee Montoya's window. But I think what has happened is the Question has, like, snuck onto the roof of the Gotham City Police Department, torn the bat stencil off of the bat signal, spray painted a question mark on it, and hit the light, and just said, "All right, this was a good job." And I think Renee Montoya is the one to, like, burst through the door and basically be like, "What the hell are you doing?"
And she shows up thinking it's the Riddler initially.
For sure.
Bursts onto the roof and is like, "Nigma, what are you doing?"
Nigma. Edward Nigma. The Question. No. Wait, I take it again.
I'm sorry.
Nigma. Edward Nigma. The Riddler. Possibly reformed criminal, possibly private detective, possibly running an elaborate scam. Options are limitless. Must require further investigation later. I'm not the Riddler.
Clearly. What are you?
Officer Renee Montoya.
Yes?
What am I? That is the question.
That is what I said. I did say, what are you? I was going to say, what are you doing? But what are you makes way better sense.
What am I? That is the question. And he looks off into middle distance, fully ignoring the fact that he's said this at least twice tonight already.
If you don't have a very good explanation for what you're doing on top of our precinct, I am going to slap you in handcuffs and drag you downstairs. And even if you do have a pretty good explanation, I'm probably still going to do that.
If you would like to be thoroughly unprepared for the oncoming apocalyptic invasion of Gotham City and the world at large, feel free to throw me in handcuffs and drag me downstairs, Officer Montoya. But I know you. I know that you are the best cop this force has ever produced, and I know if anyone is going to be our liaison on the inside, then it's going to be you.
We're Gotham. We're not supposed to have apocalypses. That's Metropolis. What are you talking about?
Intergang, Darkseid's organized crime outfit on Earth, there was an incident earlier involving an explosion. I'm sure you heard about it on the police scanner. Alien weaponry has been spotted on the east side of Gotham. Due to a concerted effort by myself, the Question, and the vigilante known as Catwoman, these weapons were disarmed, I guess you could say, in a manner of speaking.
Explosions generally don't equal disarmed, but I'll give it to you for now.
They're not on the streets.
Fair enough.
That's what matters.
Explosions in the middle of our city are generally frowned upon, but sure, they're not on the streets.
Frowned upon, yes. Common, also yes. Let's be real.
Yeah, true. We're trying to make that less true, but yeah, we've got a problem.
You've got a problem. You've got a question, and the question is your best answer.
That was horrible.
Work with me.
That
here.
was horrible. If you're
they're not all
okay,
winners.
at least you can acknowledge that. So what do you need?
Work with us.
What do you need from us? Not that I'm saying I will actually work with you, but what do you need from us?
Forces on the ground, people, any police cooperation, added presence on the streets, anything that you can provide. We can, myself and my extra legal associates can crack down on leads as we find them. But there's only so much we can do. We are handcuffed just as much as the police are in our own way. If we're going to do this, if we're going to stop this, we stop it together.
We can't turn Gotham into a police state just because of one gang.
Can't we?
I realized as I said it how many times that happens.
I was starting to come up with a more elaborate thing, and then I realized the question's response would just be, yes, we can. For sure. Of course we can.
But we...
Because he kind of sucks.
I'm sorry, the question's too good. I just keep laughing. I'm trying to be a good, serious police detective, and I can't. We could, but we shouldn't. Gotham has been through a lot. Citizens are not going to take kindly to us just taking to the street.
If you won't do it, we will.
What?
If you can't be trusted, if the authorities cannot be trusted to take down this threat, then we will find a way to make it happen. I'm hoping that you can help us keep people safe.
We'll do what we can, but we can't just send every officer down there out into the streets looking for these criminals. Do you know how many crimes there are in Gotham City every single night?
I do, yes, actually. I keep track. I have a spreadsheet.
Of course you do. Well, if you've done your research, then you know that's way more than Batman alone can handle. That's way more than Batman and his 20 kids can handle all on their own. We can't focus all of our energy on one gang. If we do that, the city falls apart.
Understood. Keep the peace. Do your jobs. And we will do ours. We will stop this.
We'll be around. There'll be somebody around.
That's all I can ask. He tips his hat. Ma'am?
You gonna fix our bat signal?
And he just starts climbing down the ladder. Not like the cold opposite of the cool Batman disappearing act. He's just like calmly climbing down this ladder like, nope.
I don't get paid enough for this.
So let me ask you, what is Catwoman doing as the question is trashing the bat signal and bothering police officers?
Bothering police officers. So that scene was supposed to be like right after. What was it?
Okay, yeah. So you're talking to you're talking to Batman. Where are you headed next? I kind of want to have a scene between you and Harley Quinn.
Oh, I do too. I'm just trying to think of how to get her there. So Bruce left like a like an idiot who doesn't know how to deal with his own feelings.
Mm-hmm. And left a very vaguely worded like keep Gotham
cool.
safe.
You have a bunch of people to do that, but sure, I'll do that. Just me. You and your 20 kids, but fine. So I think Selena would then, because I established before that she was trying to gather information, so she'd probably go. My mind is giving me like the idea of her going to like a villain bar or something like that to ask around.
Oh yeah, the bar from Almost Got 'Em, where they're all sitting around playing poker in trench coats and hats.
Like something like that. Something that's like that would only exist in Gotham, but also like, how has this not been shut down yet?
Oh, for sure. And yeah, like we get the shot of the bar, and it's just crawling with every like Z level. Like Kite Man is there, Crazy Quilt, like is playing pinball, and it's like, ooh, they're pretty colors. They're all there. And I think, let's see, what is Harley Quinn doing at this bar? I think Harley Quinn is playing pool, and I think she hits it, and like it hits the 8-ball, and the whole place explodes, and she just goes, "That was fun! I love playing pool at this place. You guys are fun." As people are like backing away,
because even among villains, Harley's a little extra.
Yes.
So Selena sees her, and is like the first person that catches Selena's eye, and because she's no longer in the middle of anything since she just blew up a pool table, Selena's going to walk over and be like, "Hey, Harley."
Selena, Catwoman! I don't remember if we're using fake names today. I mean, it's fine for me, because I only have the one name. I guess I have two names, but like, Quinn, Quinzel, it's a whole thing. It's sort of more of a nickname than I'm sorry, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm just picturing Harley like runs over and hugs Selena, and Selena's like, "Oh, okay, this is happening." I'm fine.
And she's like covered in soot is the thing I should point out. Like a Daffy Duck cartoon she's just covered in soot and ash.
So when Harley presumably eventually lets go of her, Selena's just going to be like, "You got a little something on you."
Oh yeah, I'm having a blast.
Okay.
Huh?
Good one. Let me buy you a drink and ask you a couple questions.
You know I can't say no to a free drink.
Yep, that's why I offered. So they go over to the bar, I'm assuming.
Barkeep, she's covering my tab for the night, and he hands you just the longest bill.
Oh, because this is a villain bar and we're just going for this, I'm gonna do something stupid, and she's just gonna pull out like 3 diamonds and just put them on the counter and just leave them there. Like, that'll be enough.
And the bartender looks at him, looks at you, looks at them, looks at you, and just like scoops them into his apron. Is like, "Pleasure doing business with you." Drops them into a treasure chest, and it's just like, all right.
Like, if this is a bar that is only frequented by villains, they've probably had to exchange some weird stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that treasure chest is full of nonsense.
Oh, for sure.
But once they both have drinks, she's gonna look at Harley and just be like, "So have you heard that Intergang is back in town?"
Oh, yeah. Of course. Everybody's heard about that. Have you not heard about that?
If I hadn't heard about it, do you think I'd be asking you?
Fair point. Yeah. I mean, I guess I got sources, but yeah, I've heard about it.
Well, what do your sources know about who's buying from them?
What do I know about who's buying from Intergang? Well, they're using a lot of dummy corporations, which generally means they have money, which generally means that in Gotham, that's about 3 people. But, it doesn't seem like it's the usual 3 people, because those 3 people have been striking deals with the people that have been buying the guns, so it seems like it's somebody that is coming in from out of town to try and shake things up. Probably a personal attack at Batman, probably somebody with a grudge, Or somebody that's trying to hit somebody close to Batman, if I had to guess. Based on what I know, which is not a lot.
You call that not a lot?
You know, it's important to be humble.
But do you have any actual leads, or is it all just speculation right now?
Mostly speculation, but I can tell you that, like I said, I mean, all of that checks out. There's only about 4 or 5 people that could have the money to set up a shell corporation that would be tax exempt to funnel the money through into something, buying something like guns, and then selling those guns through an intermediary partner. There's only about 3 or 4 people that would have that kind of money, and only about one of them has a specific grudge against Batman, or rather Batman's best friend. And honestly, the cue ball-headed little runt owes us all some money. We had to switch management at the bar.
I'm sorry, I'm just loving Harley just knowing too much always. And I'm clearly forgetting all of my actual real-life DC Comics information because I have no idea who she's talking about. That makes perfect sense, but my mind was just like, who is a person with money in this? And my mind was like, it's not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne isn't trying to destroy Gotham. Let me just forget every villain I know in DC Comics. I promise I know something about this universe. But Selina's keeping up. Selina doesn't have my problem with not remembering characters. So she's just going to be like, you think Lex Luthor's behind this? Really?
I think he's the only person with money and a motive, and generally, motive plus means equals verdict. At least that's what I remember from the last time I was on trial. Which was, what is it, Thursday? So that would be Tuesday.
Yeah.
They dropped the charges.
Good for you. But what's he doing in Gotham? Isn't he supposed to be in Metropolis? Doesn't he have his own Blue Boy Scout to deal with? Why is he coming after us?
It's possible he struck a deal with the aliens. It's possible that by striking at Batman, he hopes to undermine Superman's little boys club. There's a lot of reasons. Maybe he's just bored.
That's the most likely one right there. Rich men being bored is the biggest problem our city or any other faces, it seems.
That is true.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks for the drink.
Your tab should be covered for the rest of the night, but get home safe.
It so won't. And she says that, and she's like, 3 more!
And Selina, carefully is just going to turn to the bartender and be like, cut her off eventually? Please? We don't need the city to burn down again.
Hey. We're criminals. But that doesn't mean we don't have standards.
Absolutely.
Have a nice night.
You too. I'm just imagining something crazy behind the bar. It's not a normal person. It's just some
oh, for sure.
It is some monstrous thing that we have all just accepted as normal in this city. But with that, Selina's gonna head out. We can move on to whatever scene might be next, if there is one.
Yeah, So let's resolve our second challenge of getting the authorities on our side and figuring out information on this. Same deal as last time. We're going to take a white and a red. Put them in the cup. You're going to take 2 red stones. If you are unhappy about the direction the Fellowship has taken, you'll hold 1 red stone. If you actively want us to fail, you'll hold 2. If you're happy with where things are going, you will hold no stones. Let me know when you've made your decision. I will let you know as well.
I'm all good.
I am also.
Okay.
How many stones are you holding?
None.
I am holding 1. I think the question kind of wanted a stronger police presence. And even if it's objectively a horrible idea, I think he was kind of hoping to have a police state lockdown in Gotham. I'm gonna be honest.
Which could have happened knowing Gotham. I just feel like Renee is a little more reasonable than some of the people in
Renee
the
was
GCPD.
Renee was right, to be fair. 100% correct. Okay, if you as a player are happy... Do you think if you as a player are... I lost words.
It happens. It happens.
Take a white and a red. If you as a player think we have done what was necessary to succeed, hold white. If not, hold red. I am ready.
Yeah, I think I'm ready too.
Okay. I am holding a white.
Same.
All right. So we have in the cup 3 white and 2 red. I'm going to shuffle them up. We have white stone. And a white stone.
Woo!
A complete success. We have won the challenge. And so I think what we see next is, we see cop cars with their lights on, kind of patrolling the streets. We probably see, like, Renee Montoya and Maggie Sawyer on rooftops with binoculars, like, looking over things. And I think that we see probably, like, Harley, like, rounding up some of her crew and some of her, like, ex-henchmen friends. And, like, roughing up suspects and, like, investigating things as well.
Some of the Bat kids are out swinging between rooftops.
And we get one long shot of Catwoman, like, looking over all of this as, like, it actually seems like Gotham might be safe.
Yep. We'll see how long that lasts. She is cautiously optimistic.
And our last challenge is take down the mastermind, right? I think that's where we're at.
Okay.
I think this is our last challenge. This is going to be our last set of scenes, so I think that is absolutely where I think we should end. We have to figure out, like, we have ideas on who is smuggling these weapons. We have ideas of how it's going to go down and what happens if we fail, so I think that actively taking down the mastermind and their master plan is our final challenge.
Okay.
I think it's difficult because, as Harley said, like, it's going to be difficult to actively implicate Lex Luthor in all of this because he has made it his job to not be present for this.
As he always does.
Yes. So you are going to take the first scene and take the first lead, and then the question will get involved how he gets involved in things in a little bit. Ow, that hurt. Bro. Okay. You are going to take the first lead. You are going to take the first scene. The question will get involved how he gets involved in things. You're going to explain how Catwoman is, like, taking the information that she has and trying to chase this up to the top, and then the question will do his thing as well. And we will play through the scenes, and then we will figure out once and for all if we were able to stop this invasion.
Okay. So, the idea that I have, and you can add on to this or tell me if it makes sense at all, is even though Batman is off doing the Justice League thing, Selina goes to Wayne Manor and is immediately greeted by Alfred being like, he's not here. I know he's not here. What is happening?
Right.
And she explains everything and goes down to the Batcave to borrow Bruce's computer real quick. Just, sometimes you gotta use what equipment you have, even when he's not around, to see if she can kind of track where Lex Luthor is and what he's up to, and stuff that wouldn't necessarily be public knowledge, but it's the Bat computer. It just knows things. And she is able to kind of piece together through airport records and traffic cam footage and a bunch of stuff where Lex Luthor is currently at in Gotham City, because he is apparently here ostensibly for some sort of business meeting. He's on a business trip between cities but we know why he's here.
Yeah. And I think as that is happening, the question is, I think we get a shot of, like, a chauffeur walking to a limo, and, like, they're walking through a garage, and then just as they pass, like, a stone column, the question just grabs them and throws them into the shadows, and comes out wearing a chauffeur's outfit, but still with no face. And it's like, good. And, like, walks, and, like, just starts walking through a hotel, and everyone is just staring and, like, pacing away, and he's like, I'm going to visit Mr. Luthor. I'm his chauffeur. My name's Jim. And he hits a button and just kind of stands on the elevator real calmly.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's both such a disaster and something everyone in Gotham City would just accept.
Yep.
So Selina being Selina, after she has found out all the information she needs, is going to totally borrow, definitely not steal. She will return it eventually, the Bat Cycle, because it's cool. And she can. She has girlfriend prerogative and can just take it. He's not here. He can't stop her. And is going to motorcycle over to said building where the question is currently apparently going to see Lex Luthor in the most unstealthy way possible.
Yes.
But Selina is going to swerve and race through the city and get there, and is not going to just storm into the lobby and go up the stairs. She's going to do what people in Gotham do, which is swing up onto rooftops and break in through windows, because that's so much of a better idea.
And as you're doing that, like, we get, like, a hallway fight where the question, like, comes out of a hallway and there's 3, like, bodyguards standing there, and they just starts wailing and getting wailed on, and it's just this big, elaborate, brutal fist fight of all, like, 4 of them, and the question is just clearly outnumbered and getting pummeled, and then, like, rushes them in, like, shoulder checks them all into a wall and starts pounding on one of them, and is just, like, I think as you're, like, on the rooftop, you hear it on the top floor, you just hear the noises of a fist fight.
That's what the subtitles say.
Yes. Fist fight noises.
And Selina is just going to roll her eyes because, of course they couldn't do this quietly. And is going to, like, I'm trying to think how that, like, my mind is trying to think of this logically, but superheroes, is going to kind of, like, use, like, the roof access to get down into that top floor, and kind of join that fight, and is just gonna look at you and be like, really? Really?
You have your ways, I have mine. Ow. See, that was you distracting me. And that's me making it right.
Sure. You know, my ways are better, and just punches some guy in the face.
And he just goes down, like, he goes down in one hit, whereas the question just continually body blows on the same guy. Like, no, different approaches, different styles.
Okay, sure. You do that, I'll do me, and then we'll move on when you're hopefully not a bloody mess on the floor. And is saying all of this while still, like, mostly avoiding blows. Somebody probably gets a few hits in, but she's being graceful and knows what she's doing here.
And I think the last guy gets taken down when the question just cold hits him in the head with a trash can, and then throws it to the ground and says, "See that? Results."
Okay. Sure.
And they walks over and, like, throws open the door, and Luthor is probably meeting with a hologram of, like, Desaad or something, like, some real blatantly villainous thing, right? Like, there's no subtlety here.
Yeah, I'm on board for that. They break down the door and they're both standing there trying to look cool, but, you know, Question's like a bloody mess.
Mm-hmm. And it's like lurching over. Catwoman is just like got her eyes on him and like kind of lifts up his fists and he's like, Luthor, come with us and there won't be a problem. And I think that's where I want to call for the third challenge.
Okay.
So here's how the third challenge works. This determines if we were successful in our quest. We add, much like the previous ones, we're going to put stones in a cup and then draw stones to see if it was successful. We start with 1 red and 1 white in the cup. Add 1 white for each successful challenge. We had 1 successful challenge and 1 red for each failed challenge. So we're adding 1 more red and 1 more white.
Okay.
Much like in the last 2 rounds, we're going to take 2 red tokens. If your character is unhappy about the path the Fellowship has taken, hold 1 red stone. If your character wants the quest to fail, hold 2. Otherwise, hold none. I am ready.
Same.
I am holding no stones.
I am holding no stones as well.
Hooray! Now we're going to take a white and a red. If as a player, do you think that we succeed at the challenge? Hold white if yes, red if no. This will decide the entire quest, not just this challenge. I am ready.
So am I.
What are you holding?
White.
I am also holding white.
Woohoo!
So 2 white in the pool. Put the stones in a cup. Without looking, draw 1 stone. I've drawn a white stone.
Woo!
Consult the outcome and a white stone. There's
Woo!
a success.
Yay!
So let's get one last very brief scene each of like what success looks like. Wait, our epilogue, yes. Each player briefly narrates their main character's life after the quest. This can be immediate, this can be big picture. So if you have an idea, feel free to go first. Otherwise, I do have an idea.
I have a couple ideas. I have a few things rolling around because, like, it's mainly I have a stupid one-liner. Like I have a stupid, like, immediate one-liner.
All right, hit me with the one-liner.
Because I'm imagining that, like, GCPD shows up, like, once in a blue moon, they get here on time. And Renee Montoya probably shows up, and as Luthor is being escorted out to whatever trial he will probably inevitably get out of, but we've stopped this for now. Selena's just like, you couldn't have just left this nonsense in Metropolis. You don't bring it to my hometown.
And they cart away Luthor and the Question back in his original outfit, and it's never explained when he changed clothes. Just walks up to Renee and leans in close. You'd make a good vigilante. And then just walks off the same way that he's walked off before, which is entirely without theatrics.
No preamble. No, nothing looking cool about it. Just walks away.
Yep.
And
then my other epilogue.
Yes.
Is he walks off. He walks off. Still like there's blood pooling at bits of his face mask, and like his hair is matted, and his hat and jacket are all crumpled up, and there's blood stains and bruises visible on his arms, and he just like limps, and he walks into an Italian restaurant. And like he's got the mask is off now, so that he's still wearing the entire rest of the Question outfit with like paper towels in his nose and like a black eye, and he walks into an Italian restaurant and sits, and Helena Bertinelli is on the other side of the table, and she's just like, rough night? About the usual.
Like I'm trying to come up with a good response. I just love this visual. I feel like because Huntress finally gets to show up all the way in the epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yeah, you could have called me.
I didn't want to mess up our date.
which is sweet. We should probably get you home and get some of this fixed.
It could. I'd really actually prefer if we ate.
Okay.
I haven't eaten since yesterday.
Oh, that's... Babe, no.
I think that's where it cuts.
And because we're being shipping trash,
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I think after all of this, all of the nonsense with Lex has been wrapped up, I like the idea of Selena being on the roof and she pulls out her, like, a cell phone. Like, how do you have a cell phone while in superhero costume? Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. And calls Bruce and is like, I think we handled that pretty well.
News reports seem to say so.
Kept Gotham safe. Didn't burn the city to the ground while you were away for 10 minutes.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks. But I know you probably still have Justice League stuff to do, like you always do.
They can make do without me, and you hear that not on the cell phone, but directly behind you, because Batman does his Batman thing.
And she just turns around and goes, good, that was what I was hoping for.
And gay.
Yes.
Oh, that was really good. That was so much fun.
I love that we found an excuse to make this romantic superheroes, even though that's not what this game is for.
That's like, if you can't make romantic superheroes out of it, you're not trying hard enough.
True.
Oh, that was so much fun. Emily, thank you so much for coming back on Party of One. This was a blast.
This really was. Thank you.
So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
Well, people can find me on Whelmed the Young Justice Files, talking more about DC superheroes. And you can find us on iTunes or Google Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And you can find us on Twitter at the YJ Files and all of our social media over there if you want to follow us. And you can find me at Emily of Arden on Twitter, EMILY of ARDEN. Where you can find both my Whelm stuff, my guest stuff, anytime I freelance write things on the internet about comics or other things, they all end up getting posted there eventually.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a blast. And now I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me.
Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Emily for coming on the show. That game was absolutely outstanding. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Be sure to check out Whelm the Young Justice Files. I think it is an outstanding podcast, giving really wonderful analysis to not only Young Justice, but to the larger world of DC comic books and superheroes. I think it is a phenomenal podcast that is absolutely worth your time. Also, be sure to follow Emily on Twitter at Emily of Arden. Then, while you're on Twitter, follow us at Party of One Pod, then like the show at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. Join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. If you enjoy the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes review, a social media shout out, or a word of mouth recommendation. All of those things help new listeners find the show, which helps us do bigger, better, and cooler things, like convention appearances, Kickstarters, all that kind of cool stuff. Now, if you listen to the show and thought, I wish I could just listen to Jeff talk for another, 45 minutes to an hour with one other person every week, boy do I have a podcast for you. All My Fantasy Children is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast powered by you. Every week, my best friend Aaron Catano Saez and I take a listener-submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character using some of our favorite tabletop role-playing games. Along the way, we combine stories, build a mythology, and populate a shared universe one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday at allmyfantasychildren.com. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you're interested in coming onto the show, whether you are a game designer, a podcaster, a professional wrestler, a writer, an actor, a comedian, a musician, a giant rubber monster, a film critic, a financial guru, or you just love a good role-playing game, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And that's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance, and as always, party on, everybody.